What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and a quick high-scoring tutorial. Now we are on Forest Crossroads on Chaos 1, and the current high score for this map is 189,158, and we're going to see what we can do against that. Now, there's a couple of things to think about when it comes to high scoring. Now, first off, you're going to have a score created based off of the mobs you kill and the bosses you kill. Now, this score will then be modified by various awards you can receive, such as using only 50% of the defense units available, completing all of the build phases within a certain amount of time, completing the combat phases within a certain amount of time, not dying, and so on. There will be a link in the description below to all the modifiers that are available for you to think about when you do your high scoring attempts. Now, since this is Chaos 1, I'm going to try to get in as many of the modifiers as I can. So some of them are obvious. I don't want to die. I don't want any of my defenses to die or the crystal to lose any or to go below 80%. However, the main goals I'm going to shoot for on this run are, first off, completing the build phases, ideally within 60 seconds, which is actually very difficult to do because it is all of the build phases together. Then I'm going to use less than 50% of the available defense units. One important thing here with the wording, as you see that we do have 800 DU available on this map, you have to be less than 50%, not at 50%. So if you do 400 DU on this map, you're going to go above the limit. However, if you did 390, then you would get the bonus. So the two things I'm going to shoot for are 50% DU, and I'm going to use 13 defenses. Now, the build phase starts the second you pop the box for the very first time, and then any of the build phases throughout the map are going to be added to the score, or to the time, from your initial build. So that's what you're looking for there. In addition to that, all of the combat phases times are going to be added together. Now, once you go below 10 minutes, the combat phase doesn't matter, and particularly on the Chaos 1 maps, sometimes it's in your best interest to not try to kill everything too quick, as the lowest award is for completing all combat phases in under 10 minutes. If you do it in under 9 minutes, you don't get anything additional, so make sure you're maximizing the amount of mobs you're going to get, and the amount of overall points you can achieve. Now, what I mean by that, is if you see a mage or a Malthius, and you can keep them alive a little bit longer to allow them to spawn some more skeletons, that's going to give you a higher base score. In addition to that, if you get a Slakelion, that's going to increase your base score, as you're going to have a boss that respawns every single wave, which you'll have to kill again. So let's go ahead and start things off and see if I can get this build phase done in a relatively quick manner. Just doing my best I can just to get everything slammed down just as fast as possible, and making sure that I still get complete coverage on everything. As, of course, I need to survive it. I need it to be a successful run. So just building it is not going to get it for me. I've got my 13 defenses in place now, so I'm going to go ahead and start it as quickly as possible, and then just run the map. Now, in most of the maps, not all of them, but in most of them on Wave 1, you're not going to get any mages. So the quicker you can just blast through Wave 1, the better off you're going to be. As there are no mages, there are no mobs that are going to come that are going to respawn or resurrect skeletons. So you just want to cushion your build time, or pardon me, your combat time, for the rest of the waves. So usually in Wave 1, particularly in Chaos 1, this difficulty, I just try to burn through the map just as quick as I can, just to make sure we get everything good and dead in a timely manner. Now you don't want to have to change your build midway, as that's going to change your build time, and you need to have your 13 different defenses, like in this situation, in place for the entire round. So I can't like build on top of the spawn and then sell them and move everything back, as that's going to cost me on build time, or I'm not going to have the appropriate amount of defenses down for the entire wave. Wave 1 is just about there, and I'm just going to spam that G button and get the combat phase going again just as quickly as it'll allow. And as you see, there is like a 3-second delay in between the build and combat phase that you just can't get around. So you're going to want to make sure your initial build is done quick enough that you give yourself enough time for those 3 seconds in between every wave to burn off. Now, as I mentioned, if I get a specialK, that's kind of like a bonus. Also, I'm going to start looking out for mages. And although I do want to go ahead and help DPS just to get the packs of mobs burned down as quickly as possible, I do not want to kill any mages until essentially they kill themselves by walking into range of my defenses. Now, one way that you can kind of force mages, and the Malthius for that matter, to start resurrecting is if you kill mobs in front of them. Now, it's important that you don't put any AoE damage or splash damage onto the mage itself, as you're going to have problems, and hopefully, before this runs over, we get enough mobs where I can give a decent example of how to try to keep them alive just a little bit longer. And we got a little siege roller here. Starting off with a specialK would have been just awesome, as we would get that boss every single wave through the rest of it. However, RNG is a factor, and the exact same run will never score the exact same thing twice, as you're going to get that randomness involved. Once again, just G'ing up as quickly as possible. Habit forces me to go and open the mana boxes, although I am going for an additional 10% to that bonus by not upgrading any of my defenses. So, as I mentioned below, there is a full link, or there's a link to the full awards listing in the description below. And by all means, head on over and check that out, as that's going to really help you press your score up into the higher limits. Now, the strategies are going to change. Obviously, this strategy with no walls and just spamming stuff around is not going to work in Chaos 7. So, like when I do a Chaos 7 map, one of the things I like to do to mix it up is, instead of maybe going for the 50% DU goal, maybe shooting for a little higher number, like a 70% or 90%. But then also trying to add in different types of walls. And that helps it out, because every defense you do, every defense you use is going to count as a separate defense as long as you mix it up. Now, as we see here, there's a mage in the back. I'm going to make sure not to kill that mage, but I do want to kill the mobs in front of the mage and force the mage to walk over these dead bodies in hopes that they try to help out their homies. That one got a little too close to that lightning strike Zara, so no luck there. And another siege roller, so let's just go ahead and end the wave here. I can already tell you, just because I do know that RNG is a factor, and you'll learn more as you do more of these runs, I can tell you that this run is not starting off good. We haven't had a Malthius, we haven't had a specialK, and we've actually had very few mages. That's going to definitely greatly limit the score, as the overall base score from mob kills and from boss kills is going to be a much smaller number. And of course, the larger number that we can make that means the larger number that all of my modifiers are going to be applying to. Now, we do have a mage here. I can try to keep the mage separated a little bit by just taking a little damage here and letting some of the other mobs pass through. Doesn't always work, but sometimes you can force the mage back to the back of the pack by just you doing a little body blocking. And you're going to take a little damage, but as long as you don't die, it's all good. So now I've got the mage forced to the back out of the trap zone. Is he going to get another summon? Looks like he's going to get one more summon off, probably. going to be close. Is he going for it? There he goes. Alright, so we did get an extra summon off, which will help to pad the score a little. Let me deal with this roller here quickly. Here we go, roller down, and we still got the mage in the back of the pack. So I'm just going to continue and let him just rip those summons off, as this map is pretty quick, and I'm not overly concerned about being able to stay below that 10-minute mark. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and start heading on in now. Yeah, so lightning strikes is going to have their way with him. Is he going to get one more summon off? Nope, he's toast. He got the zap. And we got a stuck mob over here, which of course is going to kill your time as well. As, oh, it's always so close. It's never like you go through the, you know, you're never 2 or 3 seconds within. Or pardon me, you never have 30 seconds left over. You're always like within 2 or 3 seconds of hitting the overall time mark that you're looking for. Now, in addition here, we got a free boss right there. So we got shield. We got the little shieldy there, and that is going to help jack the score also, because it's a boss. Although it's a mini boss, it is random, with only a chance of spawning. And when he's there, my base score is going to be jacked up. And when it's not there, the base score is going to be lower. So with all of the modifiers being so significant, having just a base score that's 100 points or 500 points higher will make just an extreme difference on your overall score once all the modifiers are applied. Now here, I'm going to have a tough time getting this guy to the back, but I'm going to see what I can do here. Looks like we're able to push him back, but Poison Dart Tower for the loss. The PDT range took care of that mage. We've got another one back here on his own. See if we can keep him separated, get him doing some reses. Resurrect all your friends, would ya? It's for the best. I promise. Now you can't be quite so aggressive with Malthius, as Malthius will put in a hurt on you. However, the mages, you can usually take a few shots from them. So by all means, get out there, do a little rugby or American football blocks, and just keep that guy alive just as quick as possible. So as we mentioned, the high score is 189,158. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near that, but let's go ahead and check it out. So we had the 13 defenses in. We were under 50% DU used, and I didn't time it, but I think that my combat time was under 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure of that. So let's see what we got for a score. And actually, that's really close, 188,000. So only 1,100 points off of the #1 high score mark. And you can look through your awards over here. It's kind of funny. You can actually only scroll through this box, or I personally can only scroll through this box maybe 1 out of every 10 times. And just so happens that this time it let me, which is awesome. And then we can see exactly what the breakdown is. So our enemies defeated, our base score was 12,000. Special enemies, 750. You get a bonus based off of just completing Chaos Trials, and the higher the trial, the higher the bonus. And then here is all the awards we obtained. So I got not even a scratch, core stayed above 80% health. Deathless, which is obviously deathless. A Chaos 1 difficulty bonus. Planning Schmanning, so I did complete all build phases in under 60 seconds. Mr. Massacre, I completed all combat phases in under 60 seconds. Hit with the Spice Weasel, that's the 13 or more unique defense types survived all waves. Let the downgrade begin, so I upgraded no defenses. I only used 50% of the maximum defense units available. And no defenses died or expired, and as you see, it is a significant amount as all these bonuses add up. So as I mentioned, I will put a link in the description below to all of the modifiers available, and by all means try it out and have lots of fun with it. So thank you for watching, click that like button and please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with more Dungeon Defenders 2. We'll see ya.